With that being said, I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled design review board meeting for Monday, May 15th, 2023. We'll start with roll call. Stephen Antonio, I'm here. Anka Dragulski.
Here.
Kate Beal.
Here.
And Polly Gardeau-Rice.
Here.
Establishing a quorum, we can move forward with new business. The first on our agenda is zoning compliance review 23-90 of John Royce, owner for the Riverview LLC applicant. Pursuant to section 9 of the Simsbury zoning regulations for the replacement of two existing freestanding signs, 21 square feet plus or minus 30 square feet plus or minus at 10 Winslow Place. The Riverview is a B1 zone. Is someone here to present on behalf of the applicant? Okay, by all means, you can, however you would.
I've never done this before, so I
Okay, so introduce yourself, pick your name and who you're representing.
My name is Maureen Huntley. I represent John Royce, the owner of the Riverview.
Okay, and then do you want to just give us a quick overview of what you're doing, what you're replacing? Is it like the same, but
Yeah,
new,
absolutely.
or?
So we are using the existing footings of the sign out on Hot Meadow. It'll be PVC wrapped, same existing size. It's not changing any dimensions. We're just updating it because I'm sure you've all driven by it. It's needing some updating. So it will be also lit from above instead of the ground lighting that currently lights our current sign.
Is that both signs or just one of the signs?
This is the sign on the street, and then there's a sign that is at our driveway in the commuter lot at 10 Winslow Place. And that is an existing sign that's just being reworked, repainted, and rebuilt.
But is there illumination being added to that one? I don't
There
think
is
it's
not.
there now.
That's gonna keep its ground illumination, not no other illumination.
Okay,
Are you changing the name from the Riverview to just Riverview?
Yes,
So the is no longer part of your brand?
correct.
Okay, thank you. Interesting.
okay, let's poll the commissioners. Anka, do you have any questions for her right off the bat?
No, not really. I mean, as long as you replace in situ, right? Like same location, you don't make it bigger, smaller, the same. No.
I think they're just encasing the poles, the
Yeah.
existing 4x4s with PVC vinyl.
And then they're painting the existing poles on the 10 Winslow sign at the driveway.
I'm fine. Like, no comments on that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Kate,
Fine.
can you do better? Do you have some questions,
It
please?
looks nice. I like the shape of the new kind of main lit one. It's pretty. Yeah, I think it's nice.
Holly?
I had my question answered. I'm all set. Thank you. Looks good.
Okay, with that being said, and seeing as it is so consistent with existing and falling into the natural surroundings, I'd like to make a motion for no, do I have to close the hearing first?
No.
Okay, then I'd like to make a motion for a positive referral regarding zoning compliance review 23-90 of John Royce, owner of the Riverview LLC applicant zoning compliance review pursuant to section 9 of the Simsbury zoning regulations for the replacement of two existing feet plus or minus 30 square feet plus or minus at 10 Winslow Place. With the one addition that any small nuances can be adjusted by personnel administratively. Would someone like to second that motion? All right, Kate Beal seconded, all in favor? Aye. That makes it unanimous. No one to say nay or abstain, and let the record show that Elaine Lang is now present and seated at the board. So with that being said, moving forward to application ZC 23-19 of Simsbury Gristmill LLC owner Chris Nelson applicant. Site plan amendment pursuant to section 11 of the Simsbury zoning regulations for the replacement of an existing 754 square feet pedestrian bridge for an accessory food truck and for an outdoor dining space at Millwright's Restaurant in the pad 17 and the pad zone at 77 West Street. Who would like to present on behalf of the applicant? Sorry, am I going too fast for us? Slow it down. No, that's good. That's good. Just bang it out here.
These are not. I'm Mary Ellen Nelson. I'm Chris's wife here, and I built on this property. And Jack Kemper, Chris's design changes. You all know through COVID, people have really enjoyed outdoor dining. So the current pedestrian bridge does need replacement. So we would like to enclose it and make it 4 feet wider, so you can move the dining outside and remove the deck outside. To exchange on the bridge, but Jack will tell you all about the design he created.
Yeah, I think we have plans on the elevations. There's some pictures of it, there's the rendering, but I think we have.
I think it's not, right.
So what we're looking to do is the bridge actually gets 4.5 feet wider. We're still keeping that, that the overhead canopy that extends out into the lawn on the south side. We're looking to do rolling windows that can come out. We're looking to do, they're at table height. One change, I think we sent some updated plans to the, to the staff, is we got rid of the window farthest to the left, because they're gonna be using that for serving area.
For what, I'm sorry, what?
Serving area.
Serving area.
Thank you.
I think the plan should come up too. We're matching the color. We're putting new roof on the whole building, we want to say, and this is why we're wearing maroon.
Well
Thank you.
played.
Maroon. So.
You got your
So that's gonna be all new, the roof, the building's gonna be painted. The beams that are, holding steel beams are put up, I think in the early 80s. Are coming to near the end of their life, so we're doing all new, bigger steel beams. This was the chance to do this, because the beams had to be replaced anyway. There's a new foundation at the end, that's all been engineered. We've gone through conservation already. It's quite sophisticated what they're gonna do. They're gonna tarp under the whole thing during construction, so nothing falls into the creek. It's pretty cool, actually. It's 4.5 feet wider. So we're getting 48 seats, and we're also gonna take off the deck that the tower too hot to.
Too buggy, too hot. It's on still water, the deck that exists at Millwrights, and we haven't used that in 8 years. So basically replacing, taking those seats, using them for this.
Yeah. I think, that is the yellow that I sent to Joe shows that, we did a few small changes from when we initially submitted the plans. That shows, there's new windows where the doors to the deck were, that's up in yellow on the left, the top drawing. And the yellow shows where the, window came out of the bridge on the west elevation. And those are the main
If you
changes.
could just, a quick overview of also the patio that's in existence, the food truck, those are all.
Yeah, I think we would need to go
Bring
to the
those
site plan
to-
to take a look at that.
I don't know what order these are.
I think that was first.
There we go.
And the site plan, and Mary Ellen and Tyler probably know more about the site than I do, but I think the dark thing is the food truck. So I think basically we're just looking to sort of make regular,
Yeah.
and just like we have COVID forever. So.
Okay, let's get going.
Better ways to phrase
Yeah,
it.
But for outdoor dining, I think it's been pretty popular and pretty nice, so we'd just like to get that, on the record, that we'd like to keep that.
So we bought a smaller food truck so that our footprint is a lot smaller than it was in the past. Before, where we put it, there were some issues with this pedestrians being able to safely get around it, which we addressed, but with this new smaller footprint, it's gonna allow us to put a fence and to just make sure it's that much safer, and also frees up 2 more spots in our lot, which has been. Seating would be essentially the same. It's picnic table seating down low. You have ADA, 2 picnic tables up top. For any of you who've been there, you know that stairway is not ADA compliant at all. So the 2 tables up top are reserved for people in wheelchairs, and then still dining out on the deck there as well. So just exactly the same seating area as before. The footprint of the kitchen area and the cashier area is going to be much smaller than this.
You talked about the outside cashier.
the outside.
Okay, I've never been to the outside space there.
So before there were two
Go on a
trucks.
field trip, it's really
Yeah.
No, I
nice.
want.
It's nice, you should come.
There's always a really long line, so I hope to be able to get there.
Can you please scroll to the sections,
Where's
the floor plan and sections? It was a section through the bridge.
Oh, you wanna look at the.
Spend the 4 feet, to enlarge the bridge.
We're 22 feet. And a new foundation is the land side, so the bridge is there now, is coming down.
Oh,
We're building a new bridge that's 4.5 feet wide.
I see, the steel needs to be replaced on both the bridge and the. So you don't think the existing will take it down?
Correct.
It's 4 foot enough, because
4 foot's
if you
enough.
go through all these efforts.
Well, it's return to balance, getting enough seating area without just making it a wacky proportion. And I think that seems to be fairly comfortable, that it does not appear to be different than it is. And when we laying out the tables, it gives us tables on both sides instead of one side. So that's, they're 4 foot tables.
And we wanted it to still look like a bridge. We don't want it to not look like a bridge at
I
all.
worked there.
It's- we want it to look like-
Get
So
in
the
there.
4 feet gives us like I said,
And
tables
then
on
it
both
goes-
sides. And we'll be able to run it 4 seasons a year instead of just 2.
And they do not increase the height of the roof.
Slightly. Slightly.
Yeah, again, 4 feet to me doesn't seem a lot.
No, it's not.
Think about it, you can go maybe a bit more.
Speaking for the owners, I think we're happy with.
Okay, okay, just.
Yeah, we're only gonna
Don't regret. it.
Possibly refer
Next
it, 20 foot.
That we may have problems with the wetlands commission.
Yeah, and and to be honest, that's part of the balancing too, is, you know,
Okay.
we're in the wetlands, close to the creek, so we
Okay.
can't get too big.
Fine, then, I have no further questions.
So
Okay.
I have a question
Go ahead.
about the removal of the deck that hasn't been used lately. And is there any need to repair building where you're removing?
Well, and that's on the plans, we're taking the doors out, and putting windows on the elevation.
Okay, I haven't found that spot yet, I guess, on the pictures.
Yes, it's yellowed out to the left, top left.
So those 4 on the left?
Yes, those are new windows.
Okay, okay, so there used to be doors, now they're gonna be
Correct.
windows.
Used to
Okay,
be one door and a wall.
Okay. oh, that's nice, okay.
It was
thank-
always the place nobody wanted to sit at Millwrights because you couldn't see outside. So now we're adding windows, so it's a
Oh.
window view. Not only do we have both sides window view on the waterfall on the bridge now, we also, the entire dining room has a waterfall view or water.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and they're positioned around, the inside is post and beam, so they're positioned around the posts.
Anything else, Polly?
No,
Elaine?
thank you.
No, that was, fun fact, my first job was waiting tables at Hopbrook when it first opened in the early 80s. So nobody wanted to sit on the deck then either. So
It's still water. It's like, and we don't want to I don't want to spray near the water. So it's like, it was just always so buggy.
Yeah, and hot,
Yeah.
or raining, and then you had reservations coming out your ears.
The Hopbrook had all those different levels, and that must have been hard to wait there.
It was, and there were limited number of windows,
Yeah.
so it was, people would fight over. The new layout is very well done, so you saved your.
Also, we're
host a
hiring.
lot of work.
She knows it all.
Elaine, all set?
I'm all set, thanks.
Keep deal?
Good, thank you.
And you went, right?
I need 4 feet. They want only 4 feet.
Actually, 4.5 feet.
Six.
With that being said, and seeing the consistency with the existing surroundings and a lack of any change to what has been comfortable for all residents and neighbors, I'd like to make a motion for a positive referral regarding application ZC 23-19 of Simsbury Gristmill LLC owner, Chris Nelson applicant, site plan amendment pursuant to section 11 of the Simsbury zoning regulations for the replacement of an existing 754 square feet pedestrianized pedestrian bridge. Also for an accessory food truck and for outdoor dining space at Millwright's Restaurant in the pad zone at 77 West Street. Would someone like to second
I'll
it?
second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Nobody left to abstain or vote nay. So thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
You can leave, by the way, or you can stay, because our meetings are a lot of fun. All right, moving right along, the approval of the minutes from April 17th, 2023. Okay, I think you missed that meeting, right? So how about you three? I went through it, I saw nothing.
Fine to me.
Anyone?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Would someone else like to make a motion?
Move to approve the minutes from the April 17th meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstaining? And that's all of us, one abstention and 4 yeas or whatever you these. All right, general commission business. I got nothing. We were talking at the end of our last meeting about some wayfinding signs, I think, or was it just Simsbury Center Code was your concern? Kate Bill.
The wayfinding signs, we did talk about, that was interesting, but no, I was just trying to understand better, like Simsbury Center Code and how we might let things move forward. How may it be more consistent, forward, and what steps need to occur in order to do that.
Is there anything in that DRB pamphlet we always refer to from like 1924? No, you know which one I mean, though.
The one that had that, I never gave you that presentation today, I just realized that. I will make sure it is uploaded to Dropbox. Your design guidelines, it does have a whole section on signage. Most of the information I got from that was a combination of the Simsbury zoning regulations, the center zone regulations, and the community design guidelines. They are a little
Vague, right?
vague and they're a little antiquated and they're a little, confusing, to be perfectly honest. In one area of town, you might allow something, in another area of town, you don't. But it's based off of sometimes materials and not that's not consistent throughout the entire town, or size is zoning regulations, so we're not even gonna touch that. But for the materials and the types of signs you prefer, also to think about illumination a little bit differently might be something you want to consider, because we now have the Abigail sign, for example, is one that's different kinds of illumination that we don't really mention in any of our design guidelines. We talk about only having down lighting, but actually we don't like uplighting in the design guidelines.
What about Halo? Is that referenced?
It is referenced in the zoning regulations, but it's reverse halo lit. And the terminology has evolved and changed, and the technology has evolved and changed. So something that might have been, bright neon before might not be something you necessarily don't like anymore. They can achieve the same kind of tasks in a different manner. If it's a discussion you would like to continue and put on your agenda, I'm sure Brittany would be happy to help you with it.
Okay. Does that answer? Do you want, how far down are you thinking we should drill on this?
I mean, I think we should take a minute to clean it up when we have some meetings that aren't packed.
Okay, so
We
what's
should
the
plan for
starting
that,
point? To review what we have,
Do you
right?
want to start just with the sign section? So I know I previously provided just the sign design guidelines to you. Do you still have that, or do you want to go through that maybe page by page at the next meeting? Or at least start going through it so we can start updating, or so you can
We
start.
can circle areas where we think we want to work on, and then maybe we can have a working session.
Okay.
I don't know if does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it may, given, we want to think about having the do nots instead of your options are limited to because technology is advancing.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
they,
good approach.
we can say, hey, you can't have that, fully illuminated or a neon sign.
Flashing or-
Flashing, but I mean, we can say you're limited to the following options when, especially right now with work on efficiency and everything.
Things are
there-
being invented every day.
Yeah, and
Maybe
materials,
lighting.
same thing, I think it's better to play a rule out game than a rule in game when there's so many new
And material
Options.
wise, I mean, we
Exactly.
always say wood signs throughout the zoning regulations, throughout the design standards. Well, some of those signs right now that look like wood, that will last a lot longer, are not wood.
Right,
Right.
we've been approving lots.
Yeah.
Of wood.
Right, and they end up looking, the wood ones end up looking shabbier faster, which is not the end goal here, so.
So absolutely, we can add that to the agenda for the next upcoming meeting.
Okay, Brittany, it occurs to me, does everyone know who Brittany is?
No, I met Brittany tonight.
Okay, let's start. Brittany, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and, you know,
You
not
can
overkill.
Brittany doesn't have
I
a
lost my
voice.
voice.
It's fine.
I'm Brittany McGill, and I'm the new assistant town planner. I'm coming from West Hartford as the zoning enforcement officer. So I do have some history with signage regulations in that sense. We didn't have much design review for signage, so that's something that's new to me. And I'll have to look over the guidelines for that for Simsbury.
Okay, and if you have anything, we are fully open to plagiarism. If there's anything from your own resources that you feel might be applicable that we could take, you know, cues from,
Yes,
we'd be interested.
Yeah.
in that as
I'll look at
well.
other towns.
Okay.
If there's anything.
Okay. Is there any other general commission business? You have to go, oops.
Is that I'm not asking you to repeat that, Mr. Chair.
Obviously not what you said.
Is that I think I have some resources for her to look at.
All right, is there anything else to review? All right, now that I've created that faux pas, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.